seen our new beach
But I got every light.
boardwalk at Dreesen's?
Man, I just got that light.
Oh my God, they spent
That one of those light clickers?
Brazilian wood.
Borrow it from the fire department?
Maybe it was
I think it was the previous one, yeah.
at all.
I didn't have time to get off my claw and change into slacks, but
This-
Change out of your AC/DC shirt.
I do have an AC/DC shirt. My
because
entry into
I saw the Ike ambassadors. My first time seeing it. Oh, yeah, on the bike path, I saw one, yeah. I'm like, I haven't seen this yet. That's enough.
There to kind of help out.
I play it.
It's not like we not do it. A lot of,
The timeline is.
cars. Bigger bridge. But we can't. A new bridge, but not. It was cool. Just think more. That's probably good thing, right? Yes. So, oh, yes.
Don't want that.
Call the meeting to order, the Planning Commission, and we begin with our pledge to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Commissioners, remember to activate your microphones if you want to be heard. Our first item of business is to adopt the agenda. Everyone's had a chance to review that. Had there been any changes since that was published, Shay? Adopt the agenda for Commissioner Hens, supported by Commissioner Lobaugh. Any question or comment? All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Unanimous? Good. You can't hear us?
Beyond.
Test 1, 2, test 1.
And we're working just
Beyond our capability now.
Okay.
Testing.
We had somebody check that just before the meeting began, so let me find out the status of it.
His IT improvement.
Yeah.
Add IT money.
Okay, I'll try to project here while they try to fix that problem for us. We have the minutes from our March 20th, 2024 meeting that they will be approved at the next meeting, so we don't have any business to do with that at this point. Now would be a time for comment by citizens who have come to speak with us on something that's not on today's agenda. Is there anybody here who fits that category? Yes, ma'am. Would you like to come forward? And could you give us your name as you begin?
Sharon Skirmerhorn. Can you hear me? Is this thing on?
I think you need to pick up a little bit too, if you can.
All right. Well, thank you for this opportunity to share my proposal, which is related to protecting our dunes and educating visitors. I've been here since about February 7th. We live in Palmetto Dunes part-time. I walk on the beach several times a day and have become aware of a growing, significant issue that I wish to make you aware of. There is a clear need to educate the visitors to our island about the importance of the dunes and the ecosystem surrounding the dunes. On a daily basis, I see no fewer than 3 to 4 people or groups of people either sitting on, laying on, digging, playing, or even walking on top of these precious storm barriers. My assumption is that these people are not aware of the beach and dunes regulations and that the grasses on top of the dunes are protected by law. I'm already seeing significant damage to the dunes since arriving February 7th. My proposal is to educate each visitor before they even step foot on the beach with 3 reference points. 1, when securing their parking pass at security. 2, as a notice inside rental units or hotel rooms or at check-in. 3, large signage at the beginning and the end of each beach access point, such as what we already have, which are in the form of sandwich boards regarding beach bike parking along the beach access. A common opportunity shared by all visitors is when a guest secures the mandatory security pass parking tag for Palmetto Dunes and Sea Pines, to which I am familiar. These passes are printed on pieces of paper. Consider, please, if you would, also including with the pass a short, concise directive in large bold print directing visitors to stay off of the dunes, and then a short description of why. We need signs at the beginning of each beach access and also at the end. We need taller dune fencing. Our beach patrol should not be the first point of reference to the significance of the dune system when approaching a visitor who is already on the dune. Beach patrol should be perhaps about the 4th. The first point of reference would be security, again. The second would be a notation within their rental unit or hotel or at check-in. And the third, hard-to-miss signage on the beach walks. These touch points afford the beach patrol 3 prior mentions with which to reference before writing a citation. I have spoken with beach patrol as they pass by. They have shared with me their daily struggle to get people off of the dunes. Each day, as I understand it, the beach patrol and code enforcement officers are required to submit a daily report of how many people they have had to speak with about sitting on the dunes. This is tangible data that the township can reference to support this initiative. I have heard that the biggest problem areas are by the Westin, Cocos, which is beach marker 94A, Resort, beach marker 91. My first point of contact was to Palmetto Dunes Security Pass office to see if they would hand out a dune education flyer along with each car pass. I was told that they would comply with such a directive only at the direction of Hilton Head Township. This could be implemented quickly for this impending high season. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. We'll be sure that that's directed to the appropriate town staff so that they can look into it for us, okay? Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak on something that's not on today's agenda? Mr. Babel?
My name is Frank Babel. I'm a resident, and uncharacteristically, this is not about biking. We all know the importance of the labor on this island. We all need it. We all need it really badly. But it's not unusual nowadays to hear about a 3-hour delay on the bridge and on 170. And a lot of the town's focus has been spent in the last year on affordable housing. Now, I don't want to diminish the importance of affordable housing, but we need a bridge. We need transportation to get people here to go to work. Hence, I would submit it's as, if not more important, to get that activity really engaged and the referendum underway. I'm afraid the oxygen's getting sucked out of the room. With so much attention being paid to affordable housing, we're not really concentrating on the transportation situation we have here. We need to fix it. We need to get this thing going. I mean, this bridge just got knocked down. How much is that going to take away from us, perhaps? We don't know. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just a private citizen just making comments and an observation. Our real problem is workforce availability, getting people here, not affordable housing. It's availability of people here. Transportation, affordable housing, training a workforce here better, and a lot of other means, in my opinion. And I just want to register that. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Okay, anybody else wanting to speak to us on a topic not on today's agenda? Okay, then we'll move along. There's no unfinished business. We'll move into new business. Let me tee this up for just a minute. We've all been given lots of documentation about a couple of hundred different capital improvement projects that are in various stages of either being done or being considered. For the purpose of today's meeting, I've asked Brian McElwee, who's going to be giving this presentation, to focus on the projects that are being suggested by town staff as a priority for fiscal year 2025, okay? The one that starts in July 1st. The ones that are shown as carry forwards from fiscal 24 are either in progress or are well along. The ones that are showing from fiscal year 26 through 29 are just for our reference to show us that they are being planned at some point, but we're focusing today on the 62 projects that are considered fiscal year 25, okay? Everybody okay with that? Good. Then Brian, would you come forward and...
Good afternoon. Brian McElwee, Director of Public Projects and Facilities. Thank you for that introduction. That was great. It saves me from talking a little bit more.
Okay.
So why we're here, I know that was come up too, like why are we doing this today? So the state's enabling legislation assigns that the Planning Commission has to prioritize projects for town council consideration in their upcoming budget. I don't really know the history of that. I think it dates back long ago. And when I was in Bluffton, I know we always struggled with how do we present this priority. We've done it high, medium, low. We've done 1, 2, 3s. I think that's how it came through last year. Then it became 1A, 1B, 1C, 2, 3. This year, to avoid all that, we just wanted to say, this is what staff is presenting as a priority project, meaning that's what we want to do this fiscal year. Even the ones that were 1, 2, and 3 last year, they still moved forward with the budget. We're still working on those projects, right? And we don't really assign, we are attending to all of those projects. So, as you said, the list that I have here today, let me see if I can. Broken down into category, beach, pathways, roadways, parks, facilities, fleet, and stormwater. And so, like you said, items that show the status as FY24 carry forward, that was already in this year's budget. And it just means we didn't finish it. It's carrying over. It's still a priority. I just wanted to just show you that we're still working on it. Items that are listed as FY25 is what staff, talking with our town manager, with our finance department, we think these are items that we want to do in FY25. And then items as FY26 through 29, that's part of our larger 5-year CIP program. You'll notice the Parks and Rec Commission, They identified one of those in 26 and 29 to move forward. They recommended that to you all. I think it's the South Forest Beach pathway for consideration to move that forward into 25. So you all are able to do the same thing. If there's something that's identified in those 26 through 29 years and you want it to come up in 25, you have the ability to do that, okay? If you think there's something in 25 that should push, that maybe isn't a priority right now, you can do that. But this is just for council's consideration, and then they will go and meet with the town manager and finance and develop the budget during their workshops and presentations. So I'm going to hit on a really high level of each one of these projects and just kind of give you an update at the same time. This is probably the one time a year where I come before you all unless we have a public project review, and I can kind of give you what's going on with our CIP program. So beach management and monitoring, that is currently ongoing. We have a permit in with all the regulation agencies, Army Corps, Fish and Wildlife. We anticipate that permit will be received probably in the next month or so, probably by June, and then that work will probably start in June of 2025. So be on the lookout for some beach renourishment activities and communication coming up soon. Beach park maintenance, that's just our ongoing upgrades that we do to the park, upgrades to recycling and trash in this fiscal year. We have a new trash fender for our beach collection, so upgrading what you see out there right now instead of the little bins with the plastic trash cans in it, maybe something a little bit more sophisticated for the island, as well as updating some signage. She spoke about, staying off the dunes. We could easily do that with our sign upgrades, wayfinding, lighting, etc. Islanders Beach Park, that is ongoing. We are in phase 1 of that project right now. We have installed a pathway through the center of the park. That is going to be open probably in the next 2 weeks. It looks really, really good, and super exciting for what's to come in the next phase, which will be the larger park, a new playground, updates to the restroom, etc. And I'm just going to hit on all of them, and you can stop me whenever you want. So this is just giving you a broad overview of our entire program. But Coligny Beach Park, we just did a new boardwalk that opened about a month or so ago. The next phase of that is identifying the next 5 years, and that'd be bigger upgrades to the park, similar to Islanders. Change the restroom, fix the playground. Right now, that playground floods. Fix the pavilions. Just give an uplift to that park. Same with Fish Hall. Just providing updating new site furnishings, add a playground down there, some enhancements to the site overall. And again, that's in 5 years out. The beach wheelchair storage is a new one for fiscal year 25. That is from a chamber leadership class project. They are developing, I think, 6 new wheelchairs that we can have for rent out on the beach. And so our director of built environment, Zenas Morris, has created a kind of a storage area and a seating area so people can be dropped off. And then the wheelchairs would be behind it so they can sit in front of it, and the wheelchairs are stored so they're away from the weather, and then go out to the beach from there. So we have 5 locations identified this fiscal year for that. And then the Harbortown dredge, that is just a leftover project, I think from fiscal year like 20, 21. It's just a pass through, so it's nothing on our end. Any questions about beach?
Brian, I'd like to suggest, we've all had a chance to look over this list pretty extensively, and so unless there's something specific about your update on the fiscal year 24 projects.
Skip those.
That leads to our knowing the fiscal 25 thing better, I think I'd like for you to just focus on 25.
I can easily
is
do
that all right
that.
with everybody?
I can be as fast as you want. I can get out here. So pathway maintenance and improvements, that's just ongoing project. Every year we do pathway improvements. Frank and Bike Walk HHI have really been helpful with us identifying items that they need repaired. So that's just an ongoing project. All those are new. I don't know why.
Benjamin Drive.
Oh, Jonesville Road. Jonesville Road is actually, it's already a carry forward. I just want to touch on that. We are going to do the construction of that this year. That's identified in the budget. But again, a carry forward. I don't think any new pathway though in FY25. Any questions about pathways?
Nope.
Okay. Roadways, so Dirt Road, Benjamin Drive is the only new dirt road for fiscal year 25. The family or the residents on that road have reached out to us, and we think we can get 100% participation. That's the big key about the dirt road project. We have to have 100% donation of right-of-way, and then we can build that project. So they reached out to us, and I think we can get that cranked out pretty quick. Looking for the new ones. Yeah, again, ongoing maintenance to our, it used to be in our operating budget, but this is just repair similar to what we just did on Main Street, where when we took that over, repair curbing, potholes, signage, pavement markings, et cetera. Same with the adaptive signal maintenance. That used to be in our operating. We've put that in, given the significant capital improvements and upgrades that we need to continue that system. It's very sensitive equipment. We had some issues last week with the big thunderstorm we had in the morning where it can really affect that equipment. So we want to invest some grounding upgrades to those traffic signals and make them more reliable. Here we get into some new ones. So the town is working on an effort called the Major Thoroughfare Corridor Plan. It will be presented to Town Council next Tuesday, I believe, at a workshop. So it identifies several corridors throughout the island, mainly along William Hill Parkway, the Cross Island Parkway, and then Palmetto Bay Road down through Pope Avenue. And so you can see there are 8 different corridors identified, but we're really focusing on corridors 2 and 3 in fiscal year 25. We have a lot of incidents of pedestrian and vehicular conflict and some safety in those corridors, kind of in the Northridge area. And then Court 8, which is Sea Pine Circle and Pope Avenue enhancements down there. And then landscape lighting and safety improvements, again, just throughout the rest of the island, update the aesthetic and the safety issues that we have at some of our intersections. Any questions there?
We're good, I think.
I'll just touch on it. A lot of the parks are carrying forward, moving forward into the design and construction of those parks, carrying over from the last few fiscal years. The only new one here is the area in front of Coligny Plaza. There's a small, kind of looks like a mud pit sometimes. It's a little retention pond that the water just doesn't hold anymore. It's on the side where the coffee shop, I think, is right now. But we want to create that into like a little plaza seating area and fill in that pond and create a nice little corner there right by Coligny Plaza. So that's what that quadrant pocket park is.
Don't need that for drainage?
We're going to put it underground, underneath it, and then fill in over top of it. Yep.
It's fully paid for by the town or partly paid for?
It's fully paid for by us. Everything in the right of way. Because the town owns the little parcel. It's weird. It's a weird configuration with the right of way and that little triangle piece. Island Rec, this is an annual thing that we get from Frank. Upgrades to his building, pool, event space, outdoor rec, etc. We show it as new, but it's just an ongoing, similar to all the maintenance. Same with general park enhancements, just general upgrades. The one new one here we have is Jarvis Park. That park needs a little love. We want to do some ADA upgrades, sidewalks, probably some new, some new paint, just some new work at that park. And then as well as the Rowan and Sailing Center, just some upgrades to that,
So it's not enlarging Jarvis Creek?
No, it's enhancing what's there, repairing what's there. Again, adding some ADA connectivity between the pavilions. If you come off the sidewalk, it's all grass until you get to the pavilion. So just connecting those areas.
What about the old schoolhouse? Still in there?
Oh, so that's just upgrades. Carrying forward from this year, we did what we could with that existing pickleball, or it was a tennis court, and we resurfaced it with a pickleball courts. But we want to do the same with the basketball court, and then we want to add some ADA connectivity there, because when you park, it's about 30 yards to the actual courts themselves, and then add some restrooms, because right now we just have some porta-johns in that area.
You know, like a sidewalk too from the parking lot to the.
What's that?
The sidewalks too.
Sidewalks from the parking area to the court area.
Okay.
Yeah. And possibly from the sidewalk out on the road into the park too. I don't think there's any connectivity there, so we can do that.
And it just said, sorry, slow you down. Rowan and Sailing just says upgrades to be determined. So.
Yeah, we don't. I don't have the full scope of that yet, but we just know we want to put some money in there. We're putting a mural in, I think, in the next month or so for the old fishing co-op, and just maybe upgrades to the playground area, maybe some seating along that bluff area. The deck probably needs a little, or the dock itself needs a little love. The last storm that we had in, there's a lot of mud that came in under the kayak ramp, and so at super low tide, it actually turns. And so we need to figure out how to fix that a little bit. That may be a little bit more in depth, but there's some love that needs to go into that part. Facilities, town hall facility enhancements, that's just everything that we have to do to keep this place standing. Repairs, painting, sprinkler heads, etc. Wild Wing building demolition, the town purchased that a little while ago, demoed that building. It is in really bad shape, and just fix up the parking in that area. Figure out how to utilize that with the, whether in conjunction with the Low Country Celebration Park or with the Coligny Beach parking. So that's that project. Tree planting and forest management is new this year. We have staff now on board who can help. Sometimes you see just a lot of overgrowth, a lot of vines, invasive species, et cetera, planting new trees, just continuing that program throughout the island. All these are just upgrades to our fire stations. They either need painting, a lot of them need new doors, new bay doors, renovations to their kitchens, their restrooms, et cetera. It's just putting money back into those buildings. We haven't built a new one in quite a while, so it's just continuing the upgrades and the maintenance. And then their fire training center is upgrading that facility. They're working on a component of it right now, but again, that's that area right off from the convenience center. More fire and rescue upgrades to their headquarters, upgrading the lobby, keeping that building. It's basically a giant warehouse at this point, and so just putting some energy back into that. And then our emergency operations center, the EOC, repairing that for when we have emergency events like hurricanes. That's where we all go. That's where we all hang out. And then security access. Right now, you see I'm wearing a badge that gets staff in and out this building. We want to do the same at all the fire and rescue locations as well. Coastal Discovery Museum, that's an ongoing thing. Those are the new requests that Rex has given me for Honeyhorn Coastal Discovery Museum. It's just the general upkeep and maintenance that he does there. So here we got more, this is more of the IT or public safety equipment. Our dispatch center, upgrading their work desks, upgrading a lot of hardware. Esri is our GIS software that we use. Just upgrading all of this and keeping up with technology, basically. Replacing out-of-date equipment, new website for the town, replacing equipment, et cetera. Public safety cameras, installing some new cameras at Chaplin Park, Jarvis Creek Park, Ford Shell Ring, and Islanders Beach Park. And the two new ones for stormwater are the Palmetto Hall outfall that goes under Fish Hall Road, and then the Howe Tract, which is actually that vacant parcel beside SB Lumber. We use that for our storage area with our contractors. There's no controlled access in and out. You have to rely on someone to shut it and lock it, or else we've had a lot of public dumping back there. So we want to put a controlled gate where you would have a clicker to get in. And then Main Street, just seeing what we, videoing and making any repairs that we need on that street since we just took that over. Town vehicle replacement, we have a fleet manager now who, he's on a, before it wasn't really kept up the way it is now. We just have a rotating, he has a plan to rotate out the old vehicles every 10 years, get in new ones. This is the new vehicle and the vehicle replacement, as well as there's a ladder truck, actually two of them for the fire department, and then a public safety, one for the code enforcement, a boat, so they can go out, look at abandoned boats or any maybe illegal things that might be happening out on the water that they can't get to now. And finally, land acquisition, which isn't really a capital project, but it shows up in here as the funding. So I'm happy to go through any of those, answer any questions.
Yeah, we're going to open it up to public comment in a minute, and Brian's going to stay to answer more questions that we may have in a minute. But excuse me, I wanted to ask you one question, Brian. Several commissioners have expressed some angst that we're reviewing these projects without any information about cost. Could you tell us, if the fiscal year 2024 budget were repeated in 2025, would all the projects at FY25 on this be covered from a cost basis as far as the town is concerned?
Are you talking about all the carry forwards? Do we still?
No, the 62 projects you're recommending for fiscal year 25, if the price tag on all those added up, would it be more or less than the fiscal 24 CIP budget?
I don't have them broken out on this list, and I probably don't have the total, but like the money that don't spend in 24 rolls forward, like so for Mid-Island Tract, right? If there was, let's say $1 million that was budgeted for that, and we only spend 500,000.
Questions of Brian?
Assume that we have the staff to incorporate all of this for this coming fiscal year?
We will soon be fully staffed in the public projects division. We have split the load of some of this, like pathways and roadways fall under transportation now. We never had a transportation division. We have a facilities division and public services. So I believe we have the staff after going through this with everybody. Some projects take a long time with permitting. That's why it looks like it hasn't been done, but we go through the effort, we get it designed, it goes up to the state level, and we don't hear about it for 6 months. So sometimes it's like, we can get to that level, but not all of these would be under construction all at once, all at the same time. If that ever happens, then we would probably have a staffing issue to keep it going. But from a design standpoint, getting these off the ground, I think we're good right now.
Other commissioner questions or comments?
I just have a question about a specific, I know there's a lot of projects, but I live and work in this area, so I'm attuned to it. The between Spanish Wells Road at 278 and Jonesville Road, that area where they built the new bridge has become very problematic and jammed up with traffic on a daily basis, because it's still only one lane and you have people trying to turn left to go off the island, turn right to go on the island, or go straight. And then it will be compounded further when the Jonesville Road complexes are all completed. And then additionally, there's been a very successful business added on the corner at 2 Spanish Wells Road with the food trucks and and all of that. And there are now people parking illegally on both sides of the road on an already narrow situation. So it's a problem area. And I just want to make sure that on those roads, the thoroughfares that you're looking at, that area is included, because it is bad already.
Yeah.
And there are people walking, there have been people killed there already. There are more people walking across the streets now because of the fact that they're parking illegally on each side of the road. And so it's a bad situation. I just want to make sure it's in the list somewhere.
No, that's a great comment. And, that would be included in that corridor segment 1. And like I said, that plan is coming forward to council in a workshop next week. But that's a great, that we should look further out too for safety. So
It's very, very problematic.
So are you saying that, I guess that's off limits for us to recommend moving that up?
No, it's not.
Recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I would like, I don't know how to say that, but I would like to add focus to the segment 1 to include that area and move that up in priority, because I think it is a problem today. It's not a problem for the future. It's a problem today. You have cars lining both sides of the road, people walking across, cars backed up to Jonesville Road. I just think it needs to be, make sure that the scope of segment 1 includes that, and then it gets raised up in the priority level.
And we can discuss that next week. We can bring that up. That was a comment from you. And I think we have our own staff priorities that I know we've heard from council about number 3, especially in the Northridge area. But that's great.
Okay. Vice Chair O'Neill, did you have a comment?
Yeah, could you help me differentiate between maintenance and capital as it pertains to this list? There's a lot of maintenance items.
There's a lot of
Is there an
maintenance.
expense level that cuts
Yeah,
off?
it's just the amount of money that we're spending for that maintenance. If it exceeds a certain cost, that would kicks it into the capital.
How much is that?
Well, each one of them, like, I think the least maintenance,
I know.
50,
what's the-
50,
What's the cutoff?
50.
50,000.
50,000,
Yeah.
thank you.
And so there's a lot of the maintenance, I think the least one is like 250 that we're putting in, so.
A follow-up to Commissioner Hen's question. If you had to determine, just from your experience, I know you can't necessarily do it yet, but is the limiting factor here the number of people we have to get all this done, or is it the money?
There's a lot. A big factor is permitting, honestly. It just takes a long time to get these things permitted. We have had staff turnover. We've had quite a bit of staff turnover. That has slowed us down a little bit. Sometimes we don't have a lot of contractors that come to the island. We have the same cast, if you will. So, getting someone to bid on a project can be difficult. So
Yeah.
it's a variety of things.
Now, what is the qualifications to bid on a project?
You can go to our website and it's all, basically you need to get a town business license and you need to have a general contractor's license. You need to be able to post a bond, like a bid bond. That's basically it.
Now, do you see yourself using a lot of the same contractors from last year to
It's
the year
the
before?
same, yeah. We have a local group, JS Construction, Cleveland Construction, Malfris, Atlantic Asphalt. They do a lot of our work. But I think we have some new people who know some folks outside of the area, and I'm hoping that we can expand a little bit.
Okay.
Mueller?
I guess follow-up question also, on the permitting, do we have a staff member on staff that squeaky wheel generally gets the oil? And is there a staff member that's responsible to interacting with the state?
No, if it gets to that level, then I'm the one generally making the call or trying to expand. Whether it's DOT, I have a good relationship with the district engineer, but we also have a good relationship with the new head of DOT, Justin Powell. Sean Colin, our assistant town manager, has a good relationship with him. They've been great lately. The state, again, you just kind of try to know who you know and you push on them. But everybody in the area is still dealing with the way DHEC is broken up. All the coastal counties go to like the same people. And so it just slows down.
Okay, thank you, Brian. We're going to go to public comment now, but Brian, you've agreed to stay on so that when we come to our final discussion up here, you'll be available for more questions. So now would be a time for members of the community to address us on this particular topic, the capital improvements program list. Anybody wish to speak to us today about that? Mr. Babel?
I'm Frank Babel, and this time I will talk about biking. The first thing I want to say is I've been doing this for a long time, and multiple generations of you folks have come and gone. This is the best staff relationship with the biking community we've ever had. The lack of progress in some of these things, it's not their fault. People just aren't coming across the bridge when they can work off island a lot easier and a lot cheaper, and don't have to wait an hour to get across the bridge and go an hour the other way. And that's a big inhibitor for these poor folks, and that's a part of the problem. And just the conditions we have now getting materials and labor and all that sort of thing, it's really an issue. So slacking up on them, they're doing the best they can, is all I'm saying, okay? I'm talking to you as a planning commission now, not nitpicking. First thing is the beaches. Sea Pines learned over the last 10 years how to get to the beach. And it's uncharacteristic of them to do that. And the way they get to the beach in Sea Pines is by bikes and by trolleys. There's no way you can build enough parking spaces for cars to get to the beach in Sea Pines. And I would submit the same is true for our island. There's just not enough room. No matter how much parking space we put in, we're not going to have enough of it. So we need to start thinking about what Sea Pines has done on a Sunday, go up there sometime and take a look and count the 600 bikes that are in the beach club. Where do you think they come from? I mean, they're the people who used to, somehow, I don't know how they got to the beach, but now they all ride bikes to the beaches. And what Sea Pines has done is they've thought through how to get bikes to beaches and people to beaches. They've separated them. They have separate pathways for the bikes that go up and places to park them, and separate places for people to walk up with all their crap. So they don't interrupt and go over the bridges and all that stuff, okay? So we need to start thinking about that, and we're working with Brian and those folks to just start thinking about Islanders Beach and all these, some of these places have one bike rack, you know, and the bikes are strewn all over the place. We got to think it through one by one, and we need to work with them, and that's something you should be thinking about, and thinking about some sort of trolley system to get people around the island so they can get to the beaches, okay? So that's a comment about beaches. I won't go any further than that. And the parks, a little bit about that too. We've never really marketed our parks, except perhaps Coastal Discovery, a few things like that. We're going to start doing that. We're going to start telling people when they go out where the parks are. And all these people on bikes, they always say, what do? We have these ambassadors out there looking at. I haven't even started. You're up. Oh.
Yeah. I failed to say that we needed to use 3 minutes, but go, see if you can finish.
Anyway, we need to do the same thing with parks, okay? We need to make sure we have enough facilities in the parks to make sure that people can go and use their bike and get to them, and they'll get there. On the pathways themselves, maintenance is really, really important. We kind of treated that as a little side thing, but it's now coming up as an asset that needs to be managed. And we're working with these folks with a partnership with the bikers that are on the beaches, are on the pathways all the time, and the town, to go identify the problem areas and to figure out how to treat this as an asset very formally. So we're doing that. So please give us a break on maintenance when it comes to budget time. If you have any influence with anybody, it really means a big difference. It's time. We gotta, and we have some other pathways like, don't ask me please about Jonesville Road, about the cost benefit of that. It's maintenance. We gotta get some maintenance done. And we're gonna be working more on etiquette and safety. Our ambassadors will be handing this stuff out. We've distilled etiquette and safety together in 6 simple things. We're gonna try to get this and spread it out uniformly throughout the POAs and the town, because we need to start thinking about etiquette for people so that they care about other people and how they use the paths. And they need to know the law a little bit. They don't need to know, item number, code number, this, just a few key things. We're trying to create an education program for them. We just want to let you know that.
Thank you, Mr. Babel.
That goes for you, Mark, when you're out there biking. Right? Okay, thank you. Are there any questions you may have for me other than that?
I think we're good right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens would like to speak to us on the capital improvements list? Okay, seeing none, let's go to commission discussion on this. We've heard the town staff's recommendation of the 62 things they'd like to prioritize for the fiscal year 2025. We've also heard that there's one item that maybe we should add in there as an additional, and that would be the one that Commissioner Lobaugh brought to our attention. Did anybody else see anything in the fiscal 26 through 29 years that they felt needed to be considered earlier? Thank you all, by the way, for spending so much time looking at the stuff in advance, because we could be here all day if we were going here line by line, but I appreciate your doing that. Okay, so it sounds like we would be looking for a motion to advance the fiscal year 25 projects to town council with the addition of, and would you restate that, Chuck? Needs to be moved up.
Yes, we would like to move the corridor segment 1 to a higher priority and add to the scope of that segment 1 the piece of road that lies between 278 and Jonesville Road, and the increased traffic backups that are being caused on that road, as well as the increased pedestrian traffic from the successful business at 2 Spanish Wells Road and also to alleviate the illegal parking on both sides of the road at that location, all of which will lead to potential human danger and continued traffic problems.
So adding, moving corridor segment 1 to a higher priority with that one additional segment that you talked to about on Jonesville Road would be the one suggestion we would make to add to the fiscal 25 year, okay? With that understood, is there anybody willing to make a motion to any degree?
I would move that we accept the stars with Councilman Lobau's addition.
Is there a second? Okay. Discussion by the commission. Any further questions of Brian? Okay, then I'll call for the vote. All in favor of accepting that motion as it's stated, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. I don't know of any further commission business or chairman's report. Are there any staff reports today, Shay? Okay. Unless there's anybody else wanting to bring up something else that we need to discuss, which I don't see, I will consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Well, nicely done.
I don't know.